Here, one of the concerns would be the glass windows. Bullets go through glass windows. We would all be on the brick wall side to get into that particular restaurant there. In this type of situation, civilians don't know what to do. They see you, they maybe recognize that you're a good guy, but they're still scared. This is an innocent person. We're not going to tase them. Hey everybody, this is Chris the Cop. Welcome back. I'm in Gamology studio with another episode of Experts React. What am I reacting to? Well, finally SWAT 4. And when we get done watching this awesome show, why don't you come on over to my channel and actually watch me play SWAT 4.
I like to do the first room just to check it out, see if there are any hostiles. You can see it opens up into this huge open floor plan right there. What we're gonna do is go ahead, pick the lock, and then we're gonna flashbang and make entry.
Here's the funny part about watching this is that Optawan doesn't exist. I'm sure there's some federal agency that has a lot of money that they have some variation of Optawan, but there is no putting something underneath the door to see if there's bad guys on the other side. And then lock picks, I don't think I have one guy on my team that even knows how to pick a lock. If the door was locked, we're going to breach it. That's what we're going to do. As a SWAT commander, I will leave the breaching up to my breachers. Everyone has a specialty on the school. So depending on the type of door, if it's a hollow door, it's a solid door, where the hinges are at, what type of lock, the breacher is going to pretty much decide on how they're going to essentially open that door. And it could be just with a ram and a pick, but we don't have C2 floating around. Now, some of departments such as Los Angeles Police Department, LA County Sheriff's Department, and I'm sure the larger SWAT teams across the nation, like for your big cities, New York, Houston, these type of cities, probably has some variation. Now, we have a new thing called depth cord where we can make our own openings, but that's something that my team doesn't utilize. So we're going to still get into buildings the old-fashioned way by just breaking open doors with rams and picks and locks. I played SWAT 4 myself. You think you're going to throw a flashbang or a gas grenade and it bounces off the door frame and you're just like, you got to turn away fast, or all of a sudden you get the big blinding white that many SWAT 4 players know that you get.
What I will do is, let's just go ahead and wedge this door.
Wedges are great for opening doors, but as far as keeping doors closed, not so much, just due to the fact that if a suspect truly wanted to get out of a door that has been wedge closed, they can pretty much just shoot the wedge or shoot the hinges off the door. So it wouldn't be something that we would rely on in regards to keeping a suspect behind closed doors. Playing SWAT 4 myself, I have used many wedges to lock in suspects in particular areas of a map. Realistic SWAT operations, a wedge would not be used in place of keeping a suspect bedded down. We would actually keep SWAT operators in a particular area to maintain if a suspect's going to be able to move or not, especially if we do know that there are suspects behind a closed door or they're in a particular area of a house. That's what we would definitely keep operators. The interesting part about SWAT 4 is I love that you have 4 operators and a team leader. Realistic, I have an 18-person team. My stick, we do have people, we have an outer perimeter, which part of that 18-person team is going to be on the perimeter to ensure that the suspects don't bail out of a window or a back door. A lot of that stick is going in with us. So it was really hard. Like I said, I've played SWAT 4 before, and it was really hard for me to wrap my head around the game because I was not used to just taking in 4 operators with me. I'm used to taking in contingency of operators where I can put multiple people at multiple doorways and maintain the control of the room that way. So it's quite interesting. But going back to the thing about lock picking doors, as I'm watching this video, I think I have one guy that knows how to pick locks, but we're not going to utilize that skill. We're just going to go ahead and, like I said before, open up that door the old-fashioned way. I'm noticing here in this gameplay that the player is using a lot of flashbangs right off the bat, throwing them into rooms. Hopefully through intelligence, we're going to know what we have inside, but we just don't randomly throw flashbangs into rooms because a flashbang could hurt someone, and we don't want to hurt any innocents inside of a room. A flashbang could be detrimental to a young kid, someone who is elderly, so we just don't randomly just throw flashbangs or gas into rooms.
Oh man, I don't like this.
Down operator, that would suck. In real life, we would lock this down, and that is it. We would either A, get that operator and drag them out to the EMTs that are outside, or we would bring the medics in with us. Like I said, we have more operators that are in the back, but we're not going to continue. The only way I can see us continuing like they're doing here today is if we have a hostage scenario where we are HRT and we have to move in super fast, dynamically to neutralize the bad guys. That would be the only way. But beyond that, if this was a scenario where it's a drug bust, arrest, or we're going in to serve a search warrant or an arrest warrant. With the operator being down, we would have, like I said, we would have locked it down and stopped right there, and then we probably would have changed our tactics at this point in time for the rest of the operation. I love Opta1. I use it quite a bit, but I only use it in the game. One of the things I'm noticing here in the operator is there's no light discipline. Normally, we would not be lighting up our comrades or lighting ourselves up. We wouldn't be making that announcement to the bad guys that were in the room. But in SWAT 4, one of the things is the game's a little dark, so I utilize this technique as well as just having my light on at all times. And it's more so that people who are watching my gameplay can see what's going on, as well as, I can also see. But in reality, in SWAT operations, we sometimes work in very low light situations. We only get to what we call light discipline. We have to have light discipline, once again, to not make that announcement for ourselves.
Can I wedge this?
Jackson, it's clear.
There's another wedge. Got to rely on those wedges. I do understand that there is either it's the expansion to SWAT 4 that I think they say that suspects can actually shoot through wedge doors. I'm not quite sure, but that's what I've read from the online community regarding SWAT 4. Oh, see right there? Bad guy holding the gun at him. That was actually a good use of force right there, just because the bad guy had his hands up, but then as soon as he brought that rifle down, you could see that the team leader here took out the suspect before he was able to take out AI operator. So really good use of force there. Now, I do want to comment on this. Here's a funny part. In this game, you use the taser to stop or to get civilians to comply. That is like the funniest thing I've ever seen in this game. This is a civilian. This is an innocent person. We're not going to tase them and drop them down to the ground, because what I do like about in this game is that you don't see the true effects of a taser. In this type of situation, civilians don't know what to do. They see you, they maybe recognize that you're a good guy, but they're still scared. They're not thinking straight. And us as operators, we understand that. So what we'll do is we can grab them, we can put them down to the ground. Yes, we're going to zip tie them because we want to ensure that a good guy's a good guy and a bad guy's a bad guy. We have an arrest team that will take those people and they will take them to where all of what we call our arrestees or civilians will go to. We're just not going to leave them in the rooms like you see in the gameplay. Once again, this is just a game. This is what you have to do in the gameplay. We do take those people to a safe area and let the other officers that are on this situation deal with that element there. We're not going to be tasing people who don't know what to do. We're not going to be tasing unarmed civilians who don't know that they need to get on their knees and face away from us. I don't like to read things about video games, so I'll just start playing and not even read the instructions. When I came across my first civilian who would not follow my commands, I was just like, okay, am I doing something wrong? So I started smashing my button, like, do something, like, you go, get on the ground, and smashing it, and nothing would happen. I'm like, what am I supposed to do here? And I eventually switched to taser, and I tased the civilian, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. This is how we are going to deal with civilians in this game that don't know what to do. And I was just like, man, these devs are sadistic, because it's not something we would do in real life. Definitely not. So what I did like in this particular entry of the room is this is where the AI operators did it right. And what I mean by that is I have played this game as well as seen game footage. When you as a player want to deploy a flashbang or gas grenade or even the pepper ball, sometimes the person at the door will open the door themselves and send the device in. That is not what would really happen. The person at the door is responsible for one thing only, and that is to open the door. The second person, maybe even the third person, will be responsible for throwing the device into the room. And the reason why I say the second or third person is dependent on how the door opens, outward, inward, whatever that may be, what side the hinges are on. We have to always have lethal coverage, because if we're going to use less lethal, you always have lethal coverage. So you're not just willy-nilly throwing something into a room without ensuring that your operators are safe. Right there, I would tase this guy. Okay, so he has the mod that allowed him to punch the bad guy, which, dependent on what you saw as the operator, you could articulate that in your police report. Because remember, we have to articulate every use of force. I can articulate why I used a flashbang, why I tased somebody, why I punched them, why I kicked them. I have to articulate that on a police report. Depending on what that operator saw, hey, he's not complying, he has a weapon inside of his hand, I decided to punch him in his face. Well, it worked because he dropped the weapon and the suspect was taken safely into custody. I don't have a lot of heartache about the way this person's clearing the rooms. We would do it a little bit differently because, like I said, we're kind of do things by ourselves. SWAT is what it stands for, Special Weapons and Tactics. We enter rooms with 2s and 3s and sometimes just multiple operators depending on the size of the room. Okay, so here, one of the concerns would be the glass windows. Bullets go through glass windows. Those operators would not be standing in that position right there to make entry. We would all be on the brick wall side to get into that particular restaurant there. If you look at all the SWAT operators right now, they're all in the low ready. See, they're all have their rifles down here. And when you see them when they're going in, they bring their rifles up. That's not really a real technique because I don't want to be looking at my front sights as I'm going through into a room. And the reason why is if I'm looking at the front sights, I'm not seeing anything that happens down here. So that's why we go in when the low ready. So I have complete look, my head's on a swivel and I'm able to see everything. I'm able to see top, bottom, instead of being up here. So we're down here. When I see a target, I'm gonna come up on this guy, make sure I'm okay, and then I'm gonna come back down if it's safe. And once again, it is a game, but it seems like every time they move, they're always up here. And that's what they do in Hollywood too in movies. It's like this. That's like, ugh, it's just kind of annoying. I love this. Stack up. Perfect. Both operators on both sides of the door. Now we're not going to be searching our room by ourselves. We're going to always have another operator with us. Always have backup with us. Looks like someone got shot there. I do love the dying postures that a lot of the people die in, including the SWAT operators. Now, I will say this one. For those of you that have played SWAT 4 or you've watched SWAT 4 gameplay and you hear the team leader always talking to TOC, that is true. I'm a SWAT commander, so I am the TOC. I would be the one that the team leader is calling to advise on what is happening. I've done my time on SWAT. I was a SWAT medic. I was a SWAT operator. I was assistant team leader, and today I'm the team commander. So I am TOC. I'm at the command post.
Clear.
Hands up! Just standing here.
And this is the information that I need to have to let me know that this operation is running fine or if there's problems inside of it. But once again, a lot of it is trust because my team leader that I have, I trust him 100%. If he tells me he wants to do something, I'm going to give him the approval to be able to do it because of his training and his expertise. So, and plus two, the team as well. So with that, this TOC talking back and forth is definitely something that happens in real life. In here, you're kind of noticing that he's kind of checking some doorways and stuff like that. Okay, you got the count going on. I'll be honest with you, that C2 stuff would be awesome. I'm sure it's real for some SWAT teams. It's just not real for me, but it would be real because the nice part about that dynamic explosion, it causes that distraction we're looking for. Remember, we want to distract everybody that's inside of a room. If we could help it and not use force, that is what we want to do. Things people think that SWAT teams, we hurt people, or actually police in general, that police want to hurt people, they want to use force. My experience is the furthest thing from the truth. If we could do an entire operation with no use of force, that is awesome. So that's why we have these distraction techniques. That's what we're doing here. That's why we throw a flashbang. That's why we throw CS gas. We want to distract anybody that's in the room so we could safely take them into custody. We want to overwhelm them. Before they can make sense of what's going on, we want to be on top of them like, okay, you see these barrels? They're here for a reason, so we need you to comply. That's what that is all about.
Red team, stack up.
The one thing that I love about the gameplay here also, and he just did it right now, was he took the firearm on the desk. There could be situations where we're going to render firearms safe and stuff like that, but the primary people, I just saw the good shooting right there, the primary people that are clearing the room are not going to go after weapons right away. We're going to secure those weapons when it's safe to do so. We're not going to secure any evidence. We're not going to be picking up the dope on the table or anything like that. That's going to be a whole other team that's going to come in. SWAT, all we're designed to do is go in, render this building safe, and then we're going to back out when we're done, and we're going to let the detectives come in and do their thing. That's what we're going to do.
Move it. Go, go, go. Reynolds, area clear.
Red team fallen.
So here's the funny part about seeing the dead suspect on the ground. We actually would zip tie or handcuff suspects that we know are dead. It's just something that's taught in law enforcement. I can't even give you any rhyme or reason why, except the fact that somebody could maybe not be dead and we just didn't feel a pulse on them, and they could still be a threat, especially if we're leaving that room. You have seen that in police videos that they show police officers after a shooting handcuffing a suspect. It's just something that we do in our training until the medics get there, and then we can actually restrain them to a gurney. But in this particular gameplay, that would be something that we would do as well.
Well done too.
So what are my final thoughts on SWAT 4? Actually, I like it. It's pretty realistic. Yes, there's some unrealism to the game, but hey, it's just a video game and we have to appreciate that, right? If you love this episode and you want to see more episodes, hit that subscribe button. Also, hit that bell icon for instant notifications. Once again, everybody, this is Chris the Cop in Gamology Studios. Have a good one. Ah, damn it! Okay. blah. I forgot what else I was supposed to. I'll try that one more time.
Cool, sounds good.
All right.
All right.
Blah, blah, blah. So what am I? Okay. I can. No, come on. Gamology. This is Chris the Cop in Gamology.